It was supposed to be just another Saturday night. Simple, uneventful, nothing worth remembering. I had planned a calm dinner at home, hoping to unwind after a draining week. But the night didn't go the way I pictured. Instead, it shifted the course of everything. Ethan and I had been together for more than 2 years. When I stepped inside, I saw him sitting on the couch. His eyes narrowed, sharp and searching, as if he already sensed something was wrong. A wave of guilt washed over me instantly. Ethan had always had this uncanny ability to read me, to know what I was feeling without a single word spoken. There was never any hiding from him. But I wasn't ready for what followed. Ethan had always been the kind of partner I thought I was lucky to have. Gentle, patient, supportive. We weren't perfect, but I believed in us. That evening, though, his expression carried emotions I rarely saw. Disbelief, disappointment, and quiet hurt, all tangled together. He didn't shout, didn't cry. Instead, his voice was calm but steady when he said, "I trusted you. And you broke that trust." Those words struck harder than any scream. There was no excuse I could offer that would undo what I had done. His eyes stayed locked on me, but I could already tell his decision was made. We lived in a small city apartment. Despite the occasional arguments, I had convinced myself we were happy. I hadn't realized I was on the edge of destroying that illusion. What started as what I thought was a harmless lie had spiraled into something I couldn't control. And instead of anger or confrontation, Ethan simply stood, walked into the bedroom, and closed the door behind him. No slammed doors. No final words. Just silence. And in that silence, I understood. He had already let go. That was the part that broke me most. He didn't fight for us. He didn't demand explanations. He didn't ask me to fix what I'd ruined. He just left me sitting with the weight of my choices. I stayed frozen on the couch, my mind racing. The stillness in our apartment felt unbearable, pressing on me like a reminder of what I'd lost. Hours slipped by as I sat there, waiting, hoping he'd step out of the bedroom, say something, anything. But he never did. The door remained shut, and every attempt I made to reach him was met with silence. Eventually, I realized Ethan wasn't just behind that door. He was gone from me completely. That night I fell asleep on the couch, regret heavier than any blanket. A couple glasses of wine dulled the edges of the ache, but nothing could erase the truth. I had broken something that could never be pieced back together. It had started innocently enough. James, an old friend from college, had reached out. We hadn't seen each other in years, and back then we'd been close. Life had pushed us in different directions, but when he contacted me, I felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. Meeting up seemed harmless, just catching up, sharing old memories, falling back into that easy rhythm we once had. We chose a bar not far from my place. When I told Ethan I was meeting a friend, I kept the details vague. I thought it would make things simpler that way. The evening with James was effortless. We laughed, reminisced, and for a few hours, it felt like no time had passed. The connection between us was undeniable. I told myself it wasn't wrong, but deep down, I knew it wasn't wise either. We ended the night with nothing more than a hug and a promise to stay in touch. It should have ended there. But it didn't. When I returned home later than expected, Ethan was waiting. His voice was low, but sharp enough to cut me. "I saw you." My stomach dropped. I tried to play dumb, asked what he meant. But his next words left no room for lies. "At the bar. With James." I froze. How had he known? Had he followed me? I scrambled for an excuse, muttering that I didn't think he'd mind. But even I couldn't believe what I was saying. Ethan just stood there, pale and exhausted. He wasn't furious. That would have been easier. Instead, his eyes carried something worse. Deep, unshakable hurt. "I never thought you'd do this," he whispered, his voice trembling. I wanted to explain, to apologize, but my throat locked. No words came. The next morning he was gone. His clothes, his belongings, everything had disappeared. On the table was a single note that read, "I can't do this anymore. I can't be with someone who doesn't respect me." That was the last thing I ever received from him. What shattered me wasn't only his leaving, but the silence that followed. Days blurred into weeks as I replayed every choice, every lie, every step that had led me to that moment. And slowly, I came to understand. Sometimes heartbreak isn't just about betrayal. Sometimes it's about the quiet acceptance that something has been broken beyond repair.